Millionaire Chess. This is the Millionaire Chess of 2014. This is in Vegas. This is the first one. Let me actually put the PGN in right now. This is the first Millionaire Chess where it was a lot of money on the line. Every one. Of course, millionaire meaning that the prize fund was $1 million for the prize fund of all the prizes together. $1 million. That's a lot. That's a whole lot of money right there, of course, right? So playing in this challenge, I actually came up and I won the under 2350 section. I had a second place. Under 2350 was $20,000. So I got 20K because the Jedi didn't know he was a Jedi back then, but I was, and actually won $20,000 at this tournament. So this not the first round. This is round 7. I'm playing, what's this guy's name? His name is Agassi Initz. He's like 2305 FIDE. So his USCF is like 2400, but he's 2305 FIDE because it was going by the FIDE ratings here. So I played the white pieces. At this point, I had 3.5 going into the 7th round, which is the 7th round. So when I won this, I was 4.5. So and with 2 rounds to go, like I was doing really good in the open section. So this is what happened. Okay, so I'm playing the white pieces. This is a quick game. So we go with E4. Now 2014, I was playing the C3 Sicilian, but I think I started playing C3 after, maybe after this. It was like, yeah, it had to be shortly after this I started playing the C3 Sicilian. So before then, I was playing the Grand Prix. So if anyone's out there, it's a Grand Prix player, which I'm considering again, but I do love my C3 Sicilian. But the Grand Prix is absolutely ridiculous. And when it comes to attacking and how strong the stuff is. So knight to C3, A6. So A6 has been played how many times? Twice. I got this 3 times in, well, really not 3 times. I got to play the Grand Prix 3 times in this tournament, lost 2 of them. One, the first one was to Atuza Porkushnian. She's a WGM. And she like won. I let her get this queenside attack off, which you're just not supposed to do, you know. So I learned that later on. You're just not supposed to let him get any kind of queenside play. Lost that game. Then the second time, I got this game actually. John Bartholomew. Everybody knows him, John Bartholomew. He played A6 and he won that game in the same tournament. So I'm 0-2. So this is the 3rd time. By this time, I actually was looked up some material, looked at other players, looked at some Boris Spassky games. So I was ready for A6. I was like, I can't lose to this again in this same tournament. So A6, he played A6 and I played G3. I was very confident because I knew what to play. I looked at like 20 games of Spassky playing literally this right here, which is the Grand Prix is usually when you have this kind of thing, when you end up going F4 and you just get an attack off on the king, which I'm actually going to play it some too in some blitz games just to show you guys. But the Grand Prix is very strong. But with this A6, it's now a closed Sicilian, basically. It's closed, meaning like they're not going to allow a lot. They're going for queenside play early, and they're not going to allow this bishop to usually develop to C4 or B5. So that means that if they're going to go A6 and B5, I have to go closed. So that's automatic. So understanding that if you do play the Grand Prix, it's good to know that if they go with A6, you need to go immediately into the closed Sicilian and actually play in the Boris Spassky fashion, which is like this. G3, B5, Bishop G2. We hit, you know, easy development here. He plays Bishop B7, I go D3. All closed up. I mean, this is still basic theory. F4 has to be played, knight F3 or sometimes H3 and castle. Then you play H3, G4, knight E2, knight to G3, and start attacking. That is the plan. Once you know the plan, the moves become easy once you know the plan. So that's how it should be, right? So E6 was played, going for a D5 push, I'm assuming. And so I went with F4, the usual, still following rules here. Knight to F6, knight F3, D5. He goes D5. He's actually threatening this pawn right now. So I have an option. Do I go Queen E2 or do I go E5? And honestly, I was like, Queen E2, this pawn's always going to have to, if I play Queen E2 and I let him take this, like this bishop's actually going to always be good in opposing mine. And this is kind of not what I want. I just don't want that. So I'm going to close it up to keep this here and also aid me in the G4, F5 stuff. So instead, I actually played E5. I just pushed right past him. E5, knight D7, castles, B4, knight E2, knight c6. Still in theory here right now. Still in all theory. Now the problem, or not real problem, is like when if they move or you know, I'm going king side. I'm going to attack him. So if he starts to go queen side, it's going to be kind of weird. Number one, that first off, his king is like still safe but not safe. It's safe, but he pushed all these pawns, but he got the pieces around it, so it's awkward. It's weird. But he castled right into this. Let me actually show you what happened. So h3, bishop e7. I go queen e1 immediately. I just kind of sit here, but I think a better move next time maybe is bishop to d2. Or queen e1 is actually fine, because it does help with c3. It's a multi-purpose move, because later on I'm going to put my queen here. I didn't want to go g4 immediately because I wasn't sure yet, honestly, if he was going to castle to that side. And I didn't want to have him to play h5 and use this rook right now, which he also could always play h5. So I just played queen e1 just to see what he does. He played a5 here. And now after a5, I sit here and I think about what happened in the games before. I was like, okay, here goes his queen side attack. Queen side attack versus the king side attack. Whoever gets there first is going to win. So it's white to move, guys. What are you going to play now? The queen side attack, you know it's going to be a thing. You know it's coming. What does Boris Spassky do? Or even Bobby Fischer? Both of those guys, monsters, play this one simple move to counter all of that kind of play. Once I learned this, I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I should have played it against John, and I should have played it against Atuza Porkushnian. F5 says potato for president. That's actually a very strong move, actually. F5 is actually interesting, I would say the least. F5 pawn takes is a thing. B3 says Mr. Rio. B3 will get you in trouble. B3 will get you in trouble because now this is what they call it, a craw pawn or a lever, pawn lever weakness kind of thing, where they play a4 or c4, and they really are about to break through here. It is annoying because they, especially if they go a4 and you don't want to take it, and if you let him take, it's kind of weird. He can get the file. So if you go rook b1, then take, rook a2 comes down here. It's just annoying. I've had this actually happen. Then c4, knight a5, bishop a6. And they, you know, you find yourself like making one move and you like, I thought I was stopping it. But you actually, you know, ignited it, you know. So that's what b3 does. b3 is just wrong for that. D4 is not a move, big fella. It's just looking like a move, but it's not. You usually want to have c3 and d4 together like that first, if you want to do that. C3 from Looney Tunesy. No, not really. You do not want to make this weaker right now. And also C3 is not going to help me break this up. C3 doesn't work. A4 is interesting. Bishop E3 and A3. So what I played was A3, but A4 was actually an alternative now that I think about it, because it kind of just shuts this down. I think A4 might have been even a slightly stronger. Why do I say that? Just because you don't even worry about this anymore. And if he does en passant, then you take with the A pawn or the B pawn. This is what Bobby Fischer has done and Boris Spassky. Bobby Fischer has played this in King's Indian Attack, which I actually start playing more just to get original positions. I start to play the King's Indian Attack. He plays this, and when they get their king side or queen side attack off, he'll just simply stop and play A3 and everything stops. And then same thing with Boris Spassky, or in a closed Sicilian, when they get the attack off, you stop and play A3 and then just slow down. So remembering that principle, when they start this attack, just stop everything with A3. Why does it stop everything? Because I'm not going to take this. I'm just going to sit it right here. So either you're going to have to take this, and I'm just going to reinforce it, and I'm actually holding B4. This file kind of means nothing. So I'm actually fine. What black tries to do is put a knight here. And when he goes here, not right now, because of course I'm threatening this like twice, but if I'm able to take this, and what happens a lot of times is black likes to do things like this. After pawn takes, there would be something as similar as like rook to c8. After rook to c8, then the c file is like there's an issue. Is an issue basically. C takes d4. Rook a2 is what white would do. And you sit here, and then you would do whatever, basically. Keep going. This is hanging too. So that happens a lot of King's Indian Attack. So thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. So let's go back. Okay. Let's go back. Okay, A3, castles. And I played G4. Here we go. Here we go, guys. Now let me tell you, this guy is 2400 USCF, 2305 FIDE. So at this point, I'm like, I am feeling really good here. Now, of course, the engine was like equal kind of thing, right? But G4, Queen B6, okay? He plays Queen B6. Where do you go now? White to move. Where do you go? You got to play this accurately. It has to be accurate or you're going to be in a lot of trouble. King h1 says Banatore. It is a move. King h1. Bishop e3 from Dota. h4 from Darth Sidious. h4 just like go for it, big fella. Bishop e3 from PieMan. I actually did go bishop e3. I chose bishop e3 because it's just simple. I have to develop. I gotta develop. So just get it out. Just get the piece out. And then if he goes here, I'm going to back up to d2. And I temporarily close this, and I still can get my queen out. And I don't have to go king h1 and waste, you know, not have my bishop still able to get out. It's developed. So he goes f6, and this is about to get real sharp here. Real sharp stuff. There's a lot of moves. You could take this. You could play g5. You could play f5. You could play queen g3. What would you play? White to move. What does Canty play? f5 says potato for president. Knight h4. Knight h4 is not enough. Not enough. g5 from Banatore. So there's a problem with g5. I don't like g5, guys. Matt Smith says g5. Queen h4. Queen h4 is interesting. I didn't consider. I think I did, but I didn't want to play queen h4. Yeah, it's no real follow-up. E takes f6 first. Queen g3. So here's what I did. I took. Here's a problem. g5 is not a move. Why is g5 not a move? Because after g5, he can just shut down shop. And maybe I could go g6, try to sack it, but I don't have to take anything. And then when we got this kind of position, when the person that has the most pawn breaks or controls the pawn breaks controls the game. So if I let this happen and black got all these pawn breaks and stuff, black is completely like controlling the game. I don't have any ways to like getting through anymore. This is never going to be fun for me. So after f6, queen to g3, I could just sit here. I need a follow up. I'm not pushing g5 once again. So what I actually did is I did take on f6, Looney Tunesy. So I took on f6 first. Why? Because this is always an indirect just weakness. Knight g5s, f5 to make this even weaker, to weaken this one. There's a lot I could do. There's a lot I could do. And then if knight takes, I could actually maybe put the queen over here. If he takes with a piece, g5 is now more appealing because then I can even open a file and play g6. It's just better. It's much better, actually. Makes it simple, says Looney Tunes. Yeah, it's just simple. So knight takes, and then I went knight g5. So I immediately went here and I started attacking stuff. I started attacking stuff here, guys. Now, this is about to get wild. And this is what you'll get in Grand Prix games. So knight g5, I'm hitting e6. Now, you have to defend this pawn or I'm just going to take it. So what do you think black can do here? You've got the black pieces. What would you play? Because I'm going to take this pawn. Bishop c8. I think that's better, actually, Banatore, than what the move was in the game. I think that was better. Bishop c8, knight to d8. Jigga, that's exactly what happened. Knight to d8 is actually what he played. So here's what I'm thinking here immediately. And this is something for you to learn. As soon as he played knight to d8, as soon, king g7, that's not a move, big fella. I think you mean king f7 too. But that's just hitting here. But the problem, king g7, yeah. So it's not a move, right? He says can't. Yeah, so the problem with knight d8, this is immediately when psychological parts of chess should always be a part of the game. It's very strong. It's even stronger than, you know, even the like mental part of just playing chess and thinking about the moves and calculating. The psychological part is the most important part. So watch this. Knight to d8, I immediately psychologically thought to myself, okay, this is not good for black. This is not good. So in that case, you should already feel pretty good, but it's still some work to do. You have to find it. Why is this not good? The rooks were connected. Now they're not connected. That's huge. Also, this knight is all the way here, and his only other moves is c6 and f7, which when you go here, I'll be glad to get another piece closer to the king. So I know that black is hurting here. Black's knight is not feeling that good. So I need to take advantage of this right now. So understanding that, I played a move here. What does white do? The knight was better than his bishop. Bishop. Yeah, I think bishop. Honestly, bishop c8. Yeah, but I mean, shoot, bishop c8. I was still happy to see, but I wouldn't be like, oh, he's fine. You know, Knight to d8, I was like, well, let's do knight d8. At least can help with defensive resources, as bishop c8 can't, because it's only just sitting here, can't do anything. But it's white to move. What do you do now? Start attacking this man. How do I do it? Bishop in the corner pocket. Welcome to the stream. How are you? But the queen backs up the pawn. Yep. f5. Nope, I did not go f5. It is a consideration, though. It is a consideration. So here's the thing. This is what I thought about. And here's my process, my thought process here. I was not a fan of black playing h6. Once black plays h6, I have to move my knight back to where, guys? f3. I have to move this knight. If I do not come up with a good move here, h6 is going to be played. That's the hard part about it. That's the annoying part. Is like, if I play not a random, but a good move, like rook d1 or like f5 or a takes b4, all these are good moves. But at the end of the day, I still have to find something to answer to h6. So if I don't get something to answer this, or like get a move on, to say the least, then I'm going to have a problem. Here's another thing I always teach my students too, is loose pieces lose games. Where's the loose piece in the position? The loose piece meaning a piece that is undefended. Undefended. Meaning the piece, what piece is not undefended, or not defended actually for black, which would be what piece, guys? Try to open the e-file. Yeah, the e7, correct. The bishop on e7 is undefended. So queen h4 was actually a move I played, and that's from CHESSABLE. Welcome to the stream. Only one coming in with queen h4. Actually, Matt Smith said it too. Matt Smith and the boy CHESSABLE. Yeah, queen h4. I played queen h4 to take advantage of this right here. And also, what's funny is, what happens on a random move like g6? What happens on g6, guys? White to move. There's a problem with anything other than the move he made. Knight takes h7. That is correct, Mr. Potato for President. That's correct. Knight takes h7. That's huge. It's funny. It's very rare when you take it this way, right? Very rare. No, you don't jump off the deep end. Queen takes h7 is not mate, big fella. Don't even do it to yourself. So knight takes h7 though. Knight takes h7. It's funny when you have. When do you ever take it this way, right? When do you ever take it this way? But knight takes h7 is the move if he does anything other than, you know, defending the bishop in a way. So I knew this, and I was like, well, what if he goes h6? If he goes h6, I can just go back to f3. And then after knight f3, I got g5, and now I got a pawn lever or something, like a weakness I can attack, because he pushed this here. When you push pawns farther, they become targets, and, you know, especially when you're attacking. This is a target of mine. I can easily hit this target with g5. So I was prepared for this. So I played queen h4. He goes d4 immediately. He's like, oh, no, we got to do something about this right now, big fella. So he plays d4. He plays d4. That's in a way a forcing move. It forces me to do something. Bishop takes b7. I traded there first because I didn't want to have my king on g2 and him coming back to check me and gaining a tempo. So I just took first because now I'm also hitting the rook. So it's forcing him. Is back in white's seat. It's forcing him to do something. He takes. Queen takes bishop. And then I just got to move my bishop. So I just moved it out of the way. Bishop d2. He went h6. And then I went knight f3. And here we go. g5 is the thing. He follows up immediately right now with b3. It's about to get crazy. It's about to get wild. Okay, so I hope you did your puzzle rush today. I hope you did your tactics. Because if you didn't, you might as well don't say nothing in the chat. Because right now it's about to get very, very wild. Very, very wild. So you played b3, white to move. Man, it's hard to know when you push your pawns because they do leave weakness. Correct, correct. Big Daddy Kills with the Twitch Prime 7 months. Thanks, bro. Good to see you, man. He said, what's good, Jim Canty? What's up, Big Daddy Kills? Good to see you, bro. Potato for President says g5. Benatori says c3. AB with the Jedi in the air. And here go mine, big fella. What's up, Kills? Yeah, b3. b3 is a move. So what did I play? White to move. I'm back again. Thanks for the host, Nasgoth. Thanks for the host, too. I saw that. So the move I made is actually g5. That's exactly what I played. So great job, Benatori. Heat Miser 7 months in a row. Wow, look at that new badge you got, Heat Miser. That's a whole year, man. a whole year being a subscriber over here at the GM Factory with these Jedi, man. That's what's up. Thanks, bro. Thanks for your support. Your continued support, man. Let's go. C3, that B pawn looks scary. It looks scary, but looks are very deceiving. I actually did that already. Okay. I did a video on that. That's on the YouTube. So make sure, by the way, go subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't already. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, because that's where I'm posting these videos. Okay, so G5. I played G5. He goes knight H7. At this point, I knew that this man is in some trouble. He in some real deal trouble right now. Right now, I honestly think it's over at this point. And it is. The engine agreed with me here after I looked at this post-game analysis. I even looked at it briefly too. And I was like, oh, nice. So it's white to move. What do you do now? I watch your YouTube regularly too. Thanks, Mandatory. At this point, white's feeling good. Man, I'm feeling real good at this position. So I got to find a good move. I got to find a good move here. So what am I going to play? So many moves to make. H6. Okay, pawn takes H6. That is a move, but that's only if you're trying to jump off the deep end immediately. Just head first all the way down with a smile. You should just take this pawn, and then bishop takes queen. It's just not a move. So 95. 95 is it looks good. Looks good. You can go knight G6, but it's not much. Queen G3. It is a move. Queen G4. It is a move. Everybody's missed the only move here. It's actually Queen H5. Queen H5. I just moved it up one. I just moved it up one square. That was it. Queen H5. Because I wanted to keep him. I wanted to keep the queen over here, and I also wanted to be able. Here's the thing about Queen H5. If I go queen anywhere else, he can play H5 himself. And then I can take it, which I'm still winning. Thanks for the follow, In-Game Dave. Nice name, by the way. You must love In-Games. In-Game Dave. So it should be, the problem is like, if I go anywhere else, he can play H5. Like if I go here, H5, it's not the same anymore. This attack is still crushing, I would say. Not, and maybe not even crushing. It's still winning. White is definitely in a driver's seat, right? But it's still work to do. It's still work to do. And you know, G6, just because you get G6 in doesn't mean you get Queen H7 because the knight comes back. It's kind of weird. So I actually play Queen H5 because it forces the pawn to stay right here. And I can take this, and the G file is open, correct, potato for president. And I can have some issue. I mean, you know, it's I was feeling this Queen H5 move much better. So here we go. He takes on C2. It's about to get real. I told you guys. I took on H6. He took on B2. Oh my goodness. What is this position? There's so many things that can happen. There's so many things that can't happen. Okay. Also, if I like mess this up and forget, you know, what I'm doing, he's actually threatening to win a piece with queen. So if he queens the pawn and I take with the knight, he can actually, oh no, wait, actually, never mind. This knight was always covering this. So never mind. But at least I thought he was winning the piece back in the day. I remember how I was feeling here. So queen takes B2 though. Queen takes B2. White to move. Where do you go? It's time to set this up correctly. It's time to win. You get this position. Where are you going to go? Are you going to jump off the deep end, or are you going to find a move? King H1, Darth Sidious says. King H1 actually still probably would have worked. King F7 is White's move. And King F7 is not a move. Unless you make King F2, I'm assuming. E5. E5. That's right here. Knight E5? King H2. I am not a fan of being this far on an X-ray. If you ever do something like this, you always need to be aware, guys. Be aware of the X-ray. I tell my students this all the time. Be aware. It don't matter how many pieces or pawns or whatever's here. You need to be aware that these people are on the same line. So King F2 is much better, I would feel like, but I didn't do it. Did not do it. So AB found the move. It is queen to G6. Queen to G6. That's exactly what I did. Why not? Threaten checkmate. Why not? Just threaten mate. Simple. Queen G6. Okay. Bishop to F6. And now, thanks so much for the sub. BC Chronic 321. That's a new one right there. That's a new subscriber right there. Let's put the lightsabers in the air and welcome this new Jedi. Let's go. Pook 123, man. What's up, Pook? 14 months. I'm telling you, Pook is a veteran. Pook is a low-key veteran. Like low-key, Pook been around here a long time. 14 months, bro. Thanks for the sub. Let's go. Queen G6, bishop. Yep. So white to move. Where are you going? Where are you going? White pieces. Where do you go? Look at all the Jedi in the chat. Look at all the Jedi, all the robes in the chat. Looking great. Knight to G5 says X Quas. That's exactly what I played. X Quas. Congratulations. You are on Jedi mode right now. Knight G5 is correct. Knight G5. There we go. Savage Knight says Knight to G3. That is not what I played. But I know what you meant, though. I know what you meant. Knight G5. That's okay. V Miles, what's up, bro? Knight G5, yeah. This is deep. That's right. Now is the move in. Look at Knight G5. I was so happy to play this move on the board. And now, mind you, again, my opponent is 2400 USCF and 2305 FIDE. And we on move 26 right now. The Jedi was pushing tight. This was 2014. 2014. So, Knight to G5. Yo, Canty, what's up, Sharkima? What is up? Knight to G5, I'm actually hitting mate. I mean, and the thing about chess, like in tactics, this is why I love tactics so much, is I like to do forcing stuff. So Knight G5 forces him to do something because I'm threatening checkmate. Either you're going to take it in a series of ways, this way or this way, which I'm still threatening mate. So if you take with the bishop, it's still checkmate. And if you take with the knight, I'm going to take this, so you still can't move the bishop. I'm actually threatening to take the bishop, mate this way. There's mate here. There's mate everywhere. You just breathe wrong, and it's mate. So that's how it is. That looks like the game even to me. Yeah. Knight to G5. So he snapped, forced. I snap right back, snap, snap. And he queens. Whoa, there's officially 2 queens on the board here. Officially 2 queens on the board. Okay, so C1, I take with the bishop. I just take it. Like, not today. Just take it. He takes on E2. And this is how you use your third eye right here, guys. This is the theme today. Using the third eye, the Jedi eye here, okay? The third eye. Where do you go here? There's a lot of moves here. I mean, there is a lot of moves, guys. And you can actually go wrong here. Surprisingly, you can go wrong with the white pieces right here. So, what did I play here? I found the only move that I thought was very, very clever here. White to move. Take the bishop with the pawn. Take f6. Okay. Lurk. BC Chronic says, yo, Canty, how you doing today? I'm doing great, man. How are you, bro? So check this out, guys. Both of those are wrong. Let's go over to let's look at f6 and rook f7. I mean, rook f6 first. Let's check it. Let's take on f6. So somebody said this. Here's the problem. This is how you already go wrong. Take on f1. Take, and then rook takes f6, and you can just like lean back, or like, you know, jump off the, knock the pieces off the table, like, you know, it's over. I mean, it's just like, it's not over, but immediately, how do you go from that to this? It's embarrassing almost. It's terrible. Not a thing, not a move. Rook takes f6. The problem is that there's too many checks, and I think there's a perpetual. Not that I calculated it out, but I knew that if I go here, I cannot bring this rook back to block because this one's open too. So any check that he does, I can't block. I literally can't block the checks. There's not a way to block the checks at all. I can't block them. I can't. This rook is the only piece that can block the checks. So all he's going to do is just check me to death. And if I go up here and get too close, I might get mated. So I'm like, dang, because this is hard to see because that rook is there. You know, thanks for the follow, Davey Doe. Appreciate it. I forgot about that. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. It's mate if you take the. It's mate if rook take on f6. Well, it's mate if rook take on f6, but it's gonna be. He's never gonna get there. Like, it's just gonna be check, 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 check. It's check everywhere. It's always check. So he takes here. So officially 2 moves down the drain. I can't take on f6, and I can't take this way. So let's try another one. h7. h7, king here. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually probably winning. Let's go bishop f4. And actually, he can move his bishop because now this pin's not here anymore. So think about this. Now he can just step off. And then look at this position. Yeah, you winning. And I'm going to put quotation marks on that one. You winning, big fella. Yeah, you winning. But are you really winning here? I mean, like, are you really winning right now? And actually, 3, 4, 5. 3-4. Looking at the piece count, I'm down a piece right now. I'm actually down a full piece. So that's not a move. It just wouldn't be a thing. So after, I would actually have to take this right now. I would have to. And then after pawn takes, you know, it's still a little wild in here. Actually, bishop h6, it might be okay. It might be fine here. But that's, it's just not, I'm like, yeah, h7's not enough. Not enough. Then somebody else said bishop f4. Bishop f4 was cool, but I didn't think it was forcing enough. And actually, you know, I was like, man, this queen, honestly, this is what I came to. You know, chess, a lot of times is about figuring out what the problem is. This is like life, actually. Chess is life, life is chess. But figuring out what the problem is and solving the problem. So what that is what's the problem? The problem is this queen. Every line I'm looking at with the tactics, the queen is the one that's very annoying. It's very annoying. So once I figured out what the problem was, I was able to address the problem. And the problem was the queen. It took me some time to figure it out, look at all the lines and calculate. And I was like, the queen's the problem. What do I do? What do I do? So I started looking around here. Chess Lover puts rook a2 in the chat. Rook a2 in the chat. So what do you do here for white, guys? Is anyone else besides Chess Lover with a move on the board? Have a move. Rook f2, AB with rook f2. F2 says Noskov. Rook f2. Everybody's saying rook f2. So rook f2, I did not play. And I'm looking at it now. At rook f2, I think I was worried about him taking for some reason, but he can't take it, can he? Rook f2, check, king g2. But then he just gets a move to move away, or does he? I think rook f2 would have been fine for some reason. But I didn't play rook f2. I honestly played Chess Lover's move. Rook a2, I used the third eye, and it looks cooler. Number one, it looks cooler. Number two, it's a Jedi thing to do. Number three, when you make that move, you look at them. You just stare at them afterwards, after you hit the clock, and wait just to see the reactions on their face. That was a drop the pencil after you write your move down move. Rook a2, drop the pencil. Or the pen. Rook a2, yeah, using the third eye, bro. Rook a2, it was nice. I was very glad to play this move here. Because after queen takes f1 check, king takes back. So if we go this line, there's no way you can get my queen. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So why does this work? Absolutely, we're going to go through every line and look at it. You just look at it, you just stare at him. Just stare at him. Like blank-faced. Just stare at him. Okay, how long you stream for, brother? I'm getting off soon. We're just going through this game. We're probably gonna do some challenges, a little bit of puzzle rush, and then I get up out of here. So watch this. Oh, I mean, if rook f2, queen e1 check, yeah, but I had king g2, and then I think I'm still okay. But here's what we got, guys. Actually, here, can he not take the rook? Yep, he can. But now that was the problem. So now I just take on f6. Now I'm fine. Now I just take it, and there's like, how do you stop the mate? If you go rook f7, I take, and if you take, I mate. So, and if you go rook a7, then it's h7 rook mate. So everything was mate. There was no way out of it if the queen moves. So after queen e5 was the only alternative, but still I could just snap on f6. No matter where the queen goes, I could just snap on f6, and that was the problem. The queen check here, I go here, check here, I go here. Check here, bishop f4, and I mate again. So I looked at all of this, and I was like, rook a2 is the way, So I went rook a2. It was nice. I was so happy to play this move. Sack to set up the mate, says Jigga. Yep, that's right. Hello, big fella. What's up, Fadu? Welcome to the stream. Yep, so I played rook a2 on him right here, hitting the queen. It was awesome. It was awesome. And after I played rook a2, he sat here, and he thought about his life. And he was like, is this what life comes to? And he's like, well, he is a Jedi. He thought about it, he looked down, licked his lips one time, took a sip of water. Then he looked up, and he resigned. And that was it. That was it. He resigned. Rook a2, it was over. So he just didn't want to play this out no more. But how many moves can you count ahead, Canty? Like calculating. Honestly, I'm working on my calculation more and more. How I do that, by the way, if you want to know how to do your calculation better, try to read books. It's very tough to do this. But try to read books without having a board. So that's what I do now. I mean, my C3 Sicilian book, I recently went through it and didn't touch a board at all. just was going through it immediately. Took a while because some stuff when you like move 25 and you're looking at it and you like in your head and you like, shoot, like it take like 30 minutes sometimes being on one page, you know, trying to figure it out and all that stuff. So that's what you should do. He sat there and thought about his life. Yeah, actually, that's what I do. If I'm in a losing position, I sit there and I think about my life and I'm like, man, what did I do? Like, why me? You know, why me? Like, I did good. Like, what is this what life really is? You know, and you start thinking about like life as itself and everything is ridiculous and why do I even play this game? You know, and then you just win the next one you find. That's how it goes. So this was round 7 of the Millionaire Chess 2014. The year I won $20,000 in this tournament was because of these games. So we're going to go through a series of them. I'm just going to pull certain ones out of there, the ones that I can find. And the ones that I have, I think I have all of them in actually in a study somewhere. So I'm going to grab them and we're just going to analyze these and go over them because it was pretty fun stuff. So that was Millionaire Chess round 7.